now that you've done a sub-3 marathon, 2:51 for your first attempt at running a fast marathon.
Yeah.
Insane. Do you think that anybody can run a sub-3 marathon?
I think so. Give people enough time. I mean, granted, like if you're 70 years old, I don't know. Like I'm not gonna like try and answer that. But if you're between your 20s and 40s, like I feel like if you're in good shape, like you're not carrying a bunch of excess fat, and you have a great training block, whether it's, who knows, maybe to run a sub-3, you have to get trained for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. I think with the right coach and the right plan, I think you can. I mean,
I think so.
Here's what I say too, because I coach a lot of people to run their first marathon and first ultra. And I say the reason that more people don't do this is not because they can't, but because they don't think they can, so they don't try. And so that's how I would answer it. I would say more people than current have or can run a sub-3, but they don't because they don't think they can. And I think that's too part of why we're seeing so many more people run a sub-3, because the age of the Instagram runner and influencer and going for sub-3s, like it's so popular on Instagram. And so what that does is it shows more people what's possible, and then more people start believing that they can do it and learn and learn the workouts and the carb loading and all those things. And then more people do it. It's like for a long period of time, no one had run a 4-minute mile, and then one person does it. Then like so many people are doing it. And so I think that's the same thing that's happening with the sub-3.
I think you nailed it. Yeah. Because that's exactly, we were talking about that this morning on our 5-hour trail run.
Yes.
I was like, seeing you in person running a 200-mile race gave me so much confidence that like, I think I could do it. Or even after seeing you do that and seeing my other friends last summer run 100-mile races and pacing them and being there in person, I'm like, I can do this.
Dude, this is, sorry to interrupt you, but I just had to jump in. It's like the whole concept of you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Yeah. And that's what you're saying. Being around me at the Tahoe 200 and seeing all those people do it increased your belief in what you thought possible.
Exactly.
Me going and visiting Mike was like, oh my gosh, okay, this is 200-mile pace. This is how I eat so that I can speed up my recovery. And then being around you, it's like, okay, here's how I fuel with electrolytes, carbs and all of that. Let me drop some wisdom on you. Proverbs 13:20 says, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. So don't hang out with a bunch of fools. That's what I'm trying to say.
So true. Within reason, I think anybody can do it. If you're able-bodied, if you're not way overweight, whatever that means.
Don't get offended.
If you can go run 26 miles right now without stopping, you can run sub-3. Maybe we put it that way. And you're not, 96 years old.
Yeah.
I think if you can go run 26 miles without stopping, even if you can't, doesn't mean you can't work towards it.
Yeah.
I think way more people can do it than they think they can. And it's just listening to people like you or me or other people in your friend groups or in your town or your run club. Just be around those people, pick their brains. Yeah. That's one thing I think that makes you so successful at all this stuff is you're so proactive with it. You're not just like, oh, I think a sub-3 might be cool, but I'm just going to buy this training program online and hope it works. You're just like, okay, I'm going to find somebody who's done it. I'm going to go visit them and do workouts with them and constantly pick their brain and ask them questions. And you intentionally put yourself into the situation that's going to help you succeed the most. Yeah. And I think that curiosity and that commitment to the goal.
And the urgency too, because it's like, yeah, you can do a training plan that's generic that you pay $50 for, but I want to do it. I want to have the best coaching. I want to have a bulletproof plan, or at least someone to help me put me in the best position possible. So I'm going to pay for that. I think some people don't realize the value of paying for coaches or resources or whatever. It's people pay for school and people pay for college, but why don't you pay for a coach to help you lose weight or get in shape, lift more. You had a guy teach you how to or coach you up in how to do a 500-pound deadlift. Like, it's such a shortcut to getting to where you want to go, is finding someone that's been there and like just studied under them. Like I sent a guy a message actually on Instagram probably an hour ago who's really good at content in the content space. I said, how much would it cost for me to shadow you for a weekend? Just because I want to be around it. And the fastest way to get somewhere is just to be around people actually doing it and be curious and ask them questions.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing I would leave people with. And then I'll also leave them with another Bible verse, dude.
Hit them
because
with it.
it's the truth. It's the living word. It says in Galatians 6:9, it says, don't grow weary in doing good. Don't grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not give up. And so it's like, don't stop. Don't grow weary. Don't stop. Keep pushing forward, because there is a season that will happen that you will reap if you do not give up. And that's the thing with the Sub-3 marathon. It's like, if you train for it for a month, yeah, like good luck. But if you train for it for 16 weeks, 20 weeks, however long, like, you put yourself in a much better position to get it. But don't grow weary in the process, because it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
I tell everybody the biggest factor in success for running or fitness or life is consistency and patience. Just be consistent, show up, do the boring work, the stuff that's not that exciting, but you know those steps are going to get you there. And then just be patient. Trust the process.
Yes.
And wait for the season to reap what you sow.
Exactly. You got to sow. You got to sow. If you sow, it will grow and you can reap it.